Lesson 1.5, Divisibility Rules. We're going to look at many of the single-digit numbers today and talk about their divisibility rules and how will they work out as far as coming up with division with no remainders. Now, in other words, what we're looking at here is a really horrible word. It's a bad thing. It's not even a real word, but it's called gazinta. And what we're going to figure out is what goes into what. And what I mean by that is what number goes into another number. When you look at division, you try to think, does 3 go into 9? And that's where this comes along. So we're going to talk about gazinta. Does it go into the other number? What you're going to have to be able to figure out from this chapter is looking at a number, at a digit, is it divisible by the number out here? In other words, if I work this division problem, there better not be a remainder. If there is, it doesn't work. So does 3 go into 9? Well, we're not worried about solving this problem. We're just worried about figuring out, will it divide evenly? And that's what we're going to go into. We're going to look at most of the digits, look at the rules, and see if we got it. Okay? Starting with the number 1. How many numbers out there are divisible by 1? And the answer is all of them. Every single number, no matter what it is, if I put in here 15 and divide it by 1, that will work. Okay? It is. All of them are divisible by 1. How many numbers are divisible by 2? That's all of the even numbers. So if your number is an even number, it is divisible by 2. You know the even numbers, 20, 14, 108. All three of those numbers are even, therefore they are divisible by 2. And number 3, if a number is divisible by 3, this gets a little tricky. What you have to do is add all of the digits, and if the sum is divisible by 3, then the entire number is divisible by 3 also. That's a lot to take in. It's a little confusing, but I'm going to show you a couple examples of this. And you'll see all you have to do is add up the digits, and if that is divisible by 3, then the original number is divisible by 3 also. Here's 42. Is 42 divisible by 3? Well, that's what we're going to figure out. So we're going to add the digits. We're going to take 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2, you should know, is 6. And then you have to think, is 6 divisible by 3? And the answer is yes, 6 is divisible by 3. And therefore, since the sum of them is, since this is divisible by 3, then your original number is also divisible by 3. Now that may not be too spectacular when you got a number like 42, but what if you have a number like this? And this is a crazy number, it's a big number, we're talking into the billions here, 37 billion. Is this number divisible by 3? And a lot of people look here and they say, no, it's not, because it ends in a 2. Well, watch. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 8 is 18, plus 3 is 21, plus 7 is 28, plus 4 is 32, plus 5 is 37, plus 2 is 39, plus 1 is 40, plus 3 is 43, plus 2 is 45. Now, you may be able to figure this one out. Is 45 divisible by 3? Well, if you don't know, do it again. 4 plus 5 gets you 9. Now, you should be able to know that 9 is divisible by 3. And that means that 45 is divisible by 3, which means that our huge number up here is also divisible by 3. So you can do this in multiple layers. You can do it many, many times until you get an answer that you know if it is or isn't divisible by 3. If a number is divisible by 5, it will end with a 0 or a 5. That's pretty simple. If a number is divisible by 6, it is if it's divisible by both 2 and 3. It has to be both of them, not just one. So it has to be an even number, and you have to do that thing where you add up the digits and divide by 3 and figure out if it's divisible by 3. It's got to be both. If it's only one, then no, it is not divisible by 6. It has to be both of them. A number is divisible by 9 along the same lines as the 3. If you add up the digits, if the sum is divisible by 9, then the whole number is 2. For example, 108, you add them up. 1 plus 0 plus 8 equals 9. 9 is divisible by 9, therefore 108 is divisible by 9. 10, a number is divisible by 10 if it ends in 0. Now that's pretty close to our divisible by 5, along the same line, but this is only if it ends in 0. You might be wondering, well, what about 4, 7, and 8? Well, 4 does have a rule. It's a little confusing. 7 and 8 are tricky as well, but here's the good news. In 5th grade, these 3, 4, 7, and 8, we don't really have to worry about for now. So, there's a lot of information printed here. How are they divisible if they're by 1, 2, or 3? 4 we skip. 5, 6, 7, and 8 we skip. 9, and 10. So you may need to watch this video a few times, and that will help you figure out the divisibility rules.